Hello and welcome back to my channel, Cards by Melissa Minor. Today I'm going to be working with Pink & Main's Crafty Courtyard. This is their card making kit. I'm also going to be bringing in some other supplies from their new March release and then some other supplies from my stash. All right, let me bring in the products and we will get started. Included in the Crafty Courtyard this month, there are some card sketches, and this was my inspiration for the cards that I'm going to be making today. So I really like these, and this month they've also even included the stamps that are included in this sketch design, so that made it super easy. All right, so for the first one that I'm going to be making for card number 1, I'm going to be using the Special Day Stamp and Die set. And then I'm also going to be bringing in this double scalloped A2 die set. Now this is from my friends over at the Stamps of Life. And I'm going to be bringing in this layering die. It's got some stitching. And this card design has a scalloped die. I don't have a border die in my stash. And so I thought this would work since I don't have that. So following along with this first sketch here, I'm going to be cutting this pattern paper 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Now I cut this from the Colorful Ink Spots paper pad included in my Crafty Courtyard kit. And then this paper, this is the Lakeside cardstock, and I used the double scalloped A2 layering die to cut this out. And then I trimmed just a little bit off of the top so that it would be just a little bit smaller to fit on this piece of cardstock. I'm also using Pink & Main's new glue bottle this month to make my cards. And then I do have these 2 pieces here of cardstock that I'm going to be using along with, so this is the Night Sky, that's the purple, and then I have a little strip, a 1/4-inch strip of the Street Light yellow that I'm going to put along here on the side. And then you can see here on my desk, I went ahead and I've colored up the candles, and I've used my Spectrum Noir Tri-Blend markers to color those up. And then I used the dies that came included with that set, and I went ahead and die cut that. So I'm going to go ahead now that I'm following along with the sketch pretty closely here, and I'm going to get this base glued down onto my 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card base. And so I like the way this is looking. And so then I'm going to go ahead, and this is how I think I want to put this, but I do want to go ahead and stamp the sentiment on here. So I'm going to bring back in the stamp set, and the sentiment that I want to stamp on here is Make a Wish. Whenever I'm stamping a sentiment, I like to use the VersaFine Onyx Black ink. This, I find, is a very rich black ink, and it just gives a really good dark impression for my stamping. So I'm going to find a block here, and I've found a little scrap piece of paper, and I'm going to stamp off once on a scrap piece of paper just to make sure this is stamping nicely. And it looks good. I'm going to bring back in my candles for placement. And let me press this down, and perfect. I love the way this looks. Bringing in my salt cellar here and using my stamp chamois, and I'm going to wipe this off. And so now I have all the pieces and I'm ready to assemble my card, but I do want to do just a little treatment to my candles. So I thought it would be fun to add a little bit of foiling to my candles to really make them shine. So another way that you can do some foiling is you can use a quickie glue pen, and you can add this. I'm adding it here to the top of the candles, and you can see how it's blue. Okay, so one thing you don't want to do is you do not want to run this through your foiling machine. It will be a mess. And then you want to wait till it's dry. So when you'll know it's dry when it's no longer blue. And then you're just going to rub your foil over that glue. And I kind of used my fingernail even in a little bit. And I was a little impatient. I probably could have let this dry even a little bit more. but it did work. And so let me hold this up and you can see that is what it looks like when you foil the candles that way. So I think that's just kind of a fun, different way to use your candles. And so this is my card number 1. I also added a few of the little sparkly gems. So this is card number 1. All right, for card number 2, I'm also using the Special Day Stamp and Die Set. I'm using the extra large sentiment strip dies, the 3/4 inch. I'm using the stitched circle frames, and what I really like about these is that it cuts out all of them in one swoop. And so I'm just kind of showing you that here, that it cuts out all of them. And then I'm bringing in these layered scallops circle dies. Okay, so I have all of my pieces cut, and I'm following this sketch design here. Now the large stitched rectangle die, I cut that piece out of the Street Light Yellow. And then the pattern paper, I used the colorful ink spots to cut 2 scalloped circles in the largest die. And then you'll see on my desk there, I've got the night sky, the purple banner, I used the strip. And then the construction orange, I just cut a little strip and dovetailed it. I wish I would have had Pink & Main's 1/4 inch strip, sentiment strip dies, because that would have been perfect. And you can see here I'm layering on the yellow circle, and that was from that stitched circle frame. And I've colored up off camera using my Spectrum Noir Tri-Blend markers. I've colored up some of the balloons from the Special Day stamp set in coordinating marker colors. And then I'm just going to use a little bit of foam tape here to pop this up in the center of this circle. Aren't these such like fun, bright, vibrant colors? So I think I'm ready to start putting my card together. Again, I've got these 2 strips, and then I've got this big, large circle. And then the last thing that I need to do is I do need to stamp a sentiment. So I am going to bring back in the stamp set, the Special Day stamp set, and I'm going to get that Celebrate die out. And Celebrate stamp, excuse me. And I do want to stamp that, so I'm going to bring back in my block and my ink. And I want to stamp that just along the bottom left-hand side of this card before I go ahead and adhere that onto my panel. So let me go ahead and stamp this off on a scratch sheet of paper. And yes, this is stamping well. And so let me ink it up and give it a good press, and perfect. It looks great. And so I have this card ready to glue down. Oops. And so I've got this new ink bottle, or glue bottle. And so there we go. I've got that glued down. And I've got this one. Now I did, these glue bottles do come empty, and I am using the Art Glitter glue. I have put that in my glue bottle. And it's working nicely. You can see here it's got that nice fine precision tip. And I'm going to get this circle adhered down in the center. And then I will adhere this panel onto my card front. And then once I get this pressed down, let me give it a good press here. To finish this card off, I'm going to bring in the Special Day sticky gems that came in my Crafty Courtyard card kit. And I'm going to pull out my pokey tool that also came in the Crafty Courtyard kit. And these are perfect for just sliding the gems off of the backer sheet. And so I'm going to slide a couple of these pink gems onto my card. And I'm trying to decide, okay, one more right here. And there we go. Perfect. All right, so this finishes off card number 2. There we go. All right, moving on, let's start card number 3. So for card number 3, I'm using the Tall Cake foilable panels. I'm using the A2 shaker cover the 4 and a, let's see here, that's the full cover, the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm using the lavender cheer foil. And then I also am using those, that's the stitched rectangle die there. So while I am running this cake panel through my mink foiling machine, I'm going to get out the pokey tool here. And there is a little bit of a film that you do need to peel off. So I'm going to go ahead and peel that off. And I do want to point out that it does tell you here that you want to cut your paper to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 before you place it into your shaker panel. So you don't want to cut it to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. You want to cut it slightly smaller. And so 4 1/8 and 5 3/8 is what I've cut this panel down to. And so I'm just going to peel this bottom piece up and stick that down to my card. And then I'm going to go ahead and peel up both of the sides and kind of make a pocket so that I'll be able to put some sequins down into the top of it. And this pokey tool is so nice for peeling these things up. Okay, so there we go, and I've got my foil cooling. So let's check it here. I think everything's cool. Let's check out my cake. Let me peel it up. And perfect. Look how gorgeous this foiled. So let me move my foiling machine out of the way. And I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to fussy cut this cake. So I will do most of this cutting off camera, but I am showing you here that I am just going to fussy cut this cake. Okay, so I have my cake cut out, and now I'm bringing in all the gorgeous, beautiful new confetti colors that have been released. And now for the fun part, I get to decide which colors that I want to place inside my shaker panel. So I'm thinking I want to use maybe this color. And the color that I've picked up, the first color that I've picked up is Glass Slipper. And then the little peachy colored one, that is called Peaches and Cream. So I'm just going to grab a little bit of each one of these. And good thing I did that on my card base because they're kind of going everywhere. And so let's see, I've got the Glass Slipper in there. Let me get a couple pinches here of the Peaches and Cream. And the same thing, I'm going to just slide some of these in here. And once I'm happy with how this looks, then I'm going to go ahead and remove the last little sticky backing on this shaker front. Now, what I really like about these shaker cover panels is that you can make a shaker card and it doesn't add all that bulk to your card. I mean, this is going to be like a super flat card, and I love that about it because these can go through the mail and I won't have to pay any extra postage or worry about my card getting damaged in the mail. So let me take my pokey tool here and just remove that last little sticky part. And we'll stick this down. So I have that ready to go. And so now I'm going to get this adhered down to the front of my card base. And you see how thin that is? I was just showing you that it doesn't add the bulkiness. Okay, so now I just have to decide which do I want for the top and which part for the bottom. All right. And so let me get some glue on here and we will get this all stuck down. And there we go. Let me give it a good press. It's so fun to shake these. I love making shaker cards. All right, then the next thing I want to do is I want to take this little rectangle and I want to add some glue. And I want to put this around the outside. Let me just top off my glue here, close it up while I'm not using it. Okay, so this will just finish this card off. It'll just make it look nice here. So let me add this little detail. It adds this nice little stitched detail. So now I have that. And again, I'm showing you it's so thin. Let me add just a little bit more glue. And I'm going to stick this down. Let me hold that down just a moment. I just want to make sure I have everything really stuck down. You could also use some like tear tape or some red tacky tape. All right, so let me add some glue to the back of my cake. And then I will get this stuck down to the center of my card. And I do want to just poke the top and the bottom, just tuck it underneath my border here, just so that that looks nice and finished. So I've got that cake all tucked in. And so now the last thing I need to do to this card is just to add a sentiment. So I'm going to bring back in my Mink foiling machine. So let me bring in my foiling machine here, and I'm going to be using this Yay for Cake. This is one of the new little birthday sentiments that you can foil. And I've got a piece of pink foil here. And I thought it would be fun to use the pink because there is just a little bit of pink in the background of that paper. And so I'm running this through my machine, and these foil so nicely. Let me move this out of the way. Let me shake it here. Let it cool down for just a moment. And I also have a piece of foam tape here stuck on my finger because I do want to pop this sentiment up. Okay, that looks perfect. Let me move that to the side. All right, I've got a little bit of foam tape on there. And so I'm going to peel that back and place that right here in the center. All right, so here is card number 3. Let me bring in all 3 cards that we've made today. Here is card number 1. I love this one. And let me bring in card number 2. And then I'll bring in card number 3. So if you've enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up button. Leave me a comment. Which is your favorite card that I've made today? Here's card number 3. And if you're not already a subscriber, hit that subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.